Silent Night stars Joel Kinnaman as a father who sets out for revenge against a gang after his son is killed in a drive-by on Christmas Eve. And this movie is directed by John Woo. And John Woo, who directed Mission Impossible, I believe, 2, and also the greatest movie of all time. Well, from his filmography is Face Off with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. Now, this film, um, I didn't know anything about this film going in. Going in, I didn't know anything about this film. I didn't see a trailer. I saw the poster. I saw it stars Joel Kinnaman. Joel Kinnaman is in it. Um, and it's something. Looks like an action movie happening on Christmas Eve, and I thought going into this film, I thought to myself, even though I haven't seen the trailer, I thought to myself, you know what? This movie, I feel like this movie is going to be very fun, but it's not going to be great. It's not going to be great, but I'm going to have a fun time watching this movie. And you damn right I did. And that's exactly how I felt. After I finished watching this film, John Woo did an amazing job and did something I was shocked. I was surprised by, and that's like this film has like there's no dialogue. Actually there is very limited. There is technically, yeah, okay, there is the film features limited spoken, very limited spoken dialogue. And talking about the dialogue, John Woo, and this is I'm going to quote something from the director John Woo about his film Silent Night. He said, and I quote, "The whole movie is without dialogue. It allowed me to use visuals to tell the story, to tell how the character feels. We are using music instead of language, and the movie is all about sight and sound. The budget was a little tight, and the schedule was tight, but it made me change my working style. Usually, for a big movie, a studio movie, we shoot for a lot of coverage, then leave it to the cutting room. But in this movie, I tried to combine things without doing any coverage shots. I had to force myself to use a new kind of technique. Some scenes were about 2 or 3 pages, but I did it all in one shot." And that is something that's something I really appreciate coming from John Woo, and something I respect and I just love from about his directing style for this film. And that's exactly what it is. This movie relies on sight, what we, the audience, see, and also the sound effects. You know, from guns going off, grenades going off, footsteps, sweats, heartbeats, like heartbeats, all of that. And I thought he did a great job. I thought he did a really great job doing that. And something very, having directing this movie and with limited dialogue or pretty much no dialogue is something very bold. It's something very ballsy, and I think he did a great job. I think John did a great job. I don't think this movie. I thought this movie was fun, like I said, but it wasn't great. I still think, to this day, I still think Face Off is like the best. I mean, I haven't seen all of John Woo's films, but I feel like that movie is his best from his work. The best John Woo movies that he's done. But yeah, regardless, like I said, I had a fun time. Yeah. It was pretty solid. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was like in the middle. It was a pretty solid film, pretty ballsy, bold move, without, cutting out all the dialogue. Taking silent to a whole new level in the title. Um, yeah, I mean, it's very innovative coming from John Woo, the director. Um, and oh my God, Joel Kinnaman acted his fucking ass off. I haven't seen every movie I haven't seen every Joel Kinnaman movie. The only thing I've seen from Joel Kinnaman, is Art Altered Carbon on Netflix. He was in the first season, Altered Carbon, which was on Netflix. He was RoboCop. He was Rick Flag in the Suicide Squad, in the DC Suicide Squad movies. Um, yeah, like that's pretty much my experience, my Joel Kinnaman experience. So yeah, like I think, like especially in the beginning of this movie. I won't spoil anything, of course. Um, but yeah, I thought he did a great job. Like he gave a very outstanding physical performance. Um, but yeah, I thought the action scenes were pretty brutal and were very well crafted. There's a lot of, because, like I said, John Woo, no dialogue. So John Woo really used the sounds, and it was very, the sound of the action scenes, the sound effects were pretty brutal and very furious, and very suspenseful. Um, Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I do, um, this actually might be one of my favorite John Woo films, like right up there. Not anywhere near. I don't think it's anywhere near as Face Off, but it's definitely the better half. Definitely one of his best films, directed by him. Um, yeah, I thought like there was a little sequence at the beginning, the opening of the film, where I thought the editing was a little bit. It was a bit iffy, but the rest of the movie, but it was like one scene. It was like one scene or like one sequence, but the rest of the movie, I thought the editing um, was pretty, elegant and very bold. It was a, choice of, the editing style. Yeah, not really much. By the way, Kid Cudi is in this movie. I was so surprised seeing Kid Cudi. Man, Kid Cudi is appearing in every like movie. He was in that shitty, awful house party, god awful house party movie with LeBron James, like in LeBron James like mansion, his house. But yeah, Kid Cudi is like popping up everywhere ever since. Well, for me, ever since X. But yeah, I love seeing Kid Cudi. I love seeing familiar, recognizable like faces and all these actors. But yeah, I'm very shocked and surprised seeing Kid Cudi. I was like, what? I I was like, what? Kid Cudi? What are you doing here? Great to see you, man. It's great to see you. I love seeing I love seeing you pop up here and there. Like, um, I mean, I guess you could say the plot of this movie isn't very original. I mean, I guess as a criticism, you could say, I mean, I could say the plot, the synopsis for the film isn't very original. It isn't a very creative. I thought like I thought the editing and the sound effects and all that was pretty creative, but the plot itself, like the narrative, isn't very creative. It isn't very original. You've seen it. It feels very familiar. You've seen it done dozens of times in other films. So yeah, but it's a pretty. So yeah. Anyway, Silent Night is a pretty fun, bold movie to see during the Christmas holiday season. Unfortunately, I didn't see this movie I haven't even heard about this movie, so which explains why I'm 1 month late. But if I wasn't, I would have seen this movie, prior to Christmas Day. Its release and all that. But yeah, yeah. That's pretty much it. Anyone. That's pretty much it, everyone. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking time to listen to my review. I appreciate it, and I'd appreciate it more if you like, comment, subscribe. Do all three of those great things. Especially subscribe, because when you subscribe, you be helping my channel by tons, by a bunch, by a whole lot, pretty basically. And I really do appreciate it. It means so much to me, and it shows me that, your appreciation and your thankfulness and all that. So I do appreciate that. So anyway, that's pretty much it. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Peace.